Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry about running late. Zoom was like giving me technical difficulties.
All good. You're seeing some members of the Digital Media High School Club at East Harlem Tutorial Program. Do you want to introduce yourself? Just say your name.
Hello, my name is Michael. I'm a sophomore.
Nice.
My name is Janine. I'm a junior.
Jermaine's a junior.
My name's Kimberly and I'm a junior.
And this is my boss, Jeff, that just stepped in because this is really cool. And we're recording so that we can share this with other club members and also save it in our archive for years to come so that students can learn from the wisdom that comes out today. So I met Joy at a conference a couple weeks ago at this point. And she spoke on stage about being an artist in Chicago. And I really thought that you'd be an awesome mentor for our group, even if temporarily, because you really had some thoughts on like the transition of your art from high school to now. And I'm wondering if we could start with that. Can you tell us about how that trajectory has gone for you?
Yeah, definitely. So, I've like always been drawing, like kind of started drawing like anime stuff, which still haunts me sometimes, but I mean, it's a nice place to start. And then once I got to high school, I got into oil painting and just a lot of oil painting, watercolor. Sorry, that's my cat.
Hi.
Um, oil painting, drawing, and everything, and very much emphasizing or focusing on oil painting. That just really called my name. Did I have any idea what I was doing? Absolutely not. Like, my teachers kind of gave us the basics and just threw us to the wolves, just kind of figuring it out, which was very fun. Um, and I was just doing a lot of painting, a lot of surrealist uh, pieces, and then started picking up drawing more, like graphite, charcoal, and still doing like the same like surreal portrait work, um, but kind of on a smaller scale. And then I always have been doing kind of like the cute stuff that I do now, but it was kind of on the sidelines. But once I left high school and then got into like college, I was still doing some of the portrait stuff, but then I started dabbling into digital art. I've always been interested in it. Like I had my Wacom or Wacom tablet. Um, didn't really pick that up very well, like compared to my friends. And then in college, I got my iPad for the first time and downloaded Procreate. I think I opened it up like one time, and that was the last time I did for like a year. It was just really intimidating, and I had been dabbling in digital art, but it was never anything I picked up on, especially because I had traditional art had a pretty big hold on me at the time. Um, but it wasn't until after I decided to like drop out of college. Like it was going well, but I just felt like I wasn't like focusing in the way that I wanted to, and I didn't want to like waste my teacher's time or my time, so I kind of just like made a very big and scary decision to just leave. Luckily, it kind of ended up working out. But yeah, I decided to leave, and that's when I really kind of got into digital work because I didn't really have the access of space to paint in the way that I wanted to. I was like living with my grandmother, had like a shoebox of a bedroom, so just painting in the corner was like the tiniest canvas ever. But I remember I had my iPad, so just hopped in that, and a lot of my digital work that I did on my iPad were some of my first freelance projects, especially like my Washington Post project was a huge one. And I did that all in Procreate, which is really exciting. There's a lot of like other artists stuff.
Bye, Josh. Yeah,
A
I
lot
just
of
want to gauge if the group knows about the program. Procreate's like a design program that you can use like on a iPad, right?
yeah,
And like instead of drawing on paper, and then it becomes digital right away. And so you're
yeah,
saying you came back to it after not really being into it in high school,
yeah,
yeah?
exactly. Because it's like it's a very straightforward like program to use and whatnot, but there's so much you can do with it. Like if you even just go on like Instagram or Twitter and just type in Procreate, and just like the range of work that people are able to do is kind of insane. And also now that it's kind of becoming an industry standard is really exciting. Like I said, a lot of my like editorial projects that I've done in 2D are done in Procreate, and there's like some fidgeting you have to do, like bringing it back to like I don't know Illustrator or Photoshop to do kind of stuff that Procreate can't handle, but like it's very much capable of doing professional client work in that app, which is really fun. Um, but yeah, did Procreate digital work, and then like 2019 discovered Blender. I already knew about like 3D programs, but they were just like they seem really inaccessible. Because like you see big movie studios like Pixar and Sony and like all of that doing like working in Maya or Cinema 4D, which I mean, if you are in a school and they have like a school account, then that's your access to it. But for someone like myself working from home, unless I have like $500+ to shell out, like either once a year, like a month, it's kind of intense. But if you have like the Creative Cloud, um, you get a free version in After Effects, which is really cool. But Blender is free, so that's my
Yeah, these are good.
route.
I'm gonna add that to our tips. So Procreate, Blender,
Mm-hmm.
free. After Effects is, these are like for animation and illustration.
Yeah, and if you have like if you pay for After Effects or if you have the Creative Cloud,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like free. If there's like a way you can pull it up inside of After Effects, and that's like a light version of Cinema 4D. Um,
Cool.
but yeah, Blender was the way to go. A lot of my friends were using it, so they were helping me out, which was awesome. Um, and yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing, and kind of teetering back and forth between digital and 3D, and also like points where I combine them to do like some kind of like the base of a 3D and base of a 3D model, and then bring it in Procreate and like draw over it. Also, Procreate can handle 3D objects now, which is really cool. So you can kind of build something in Blender and then like pull it into Procreate and paint it that way. I'm not the best at doing that, but it is possible, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. But
Yeah, we're
yeah,
taking a look at your Instagram. Like I just kind of slide it over because I need to give Zoom permission to share screen, so we're doing it a different way. But yeah, like, is that how you're getting the 3D feel on your illustrations?
yeah. Like I think I see like the heart in the house. Yeah, those are all like just done straight in Blender.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, it's really fun, and there's just like so much you can do within that program itself. You can obviously 3D, you can work in 2D in like a 3D space in that. I have a friend, his name online is Worthy Kids, and he does these really cool animations. His like most famous one is called like Big Top Burger. It's super good, but all of that's like done in Blender. Um, and you can also like do video editing. So honestly, like your whole like generally speaking, you can almost do your entire workflow um, inside of Blender, which is really exciting. So it's an awesome app. Like always like recommending it, like annoyingly shouting, like, yeah, use Blender, it's free. Like it's very intimidating. When I first downloaded it, I deleted it. I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to touch this. This is scary. But once I like did some tutorials online and kind of figured it out, it's cool. Especially
You
once you
guys
learn the basics. Yeah.
can do anything. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need to order an expensive arts. I mean,
Exactly.
that's my opinion. Okay, we have a question from a student here. What, I don't want to like out you if you don't want to, but like you can ask follow-up questions if you want. What inspired your change in style, or what brought you to switching? And I'm wondering if you could share a link where I could share what your art used to look like. I kind of
I
described it, but
I don't have any like anywhere, but if you like, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of my Instagram, some of my old like portrait work, it's not too far down, but yeah, it's down there at the bottom. So like I said, my kind of first major art style was like the portrait stuff. It was really emotion. I don't know. I use emotional lightly, but it was very moody. I think that's a better way to phrase it. Very moody, and it was pretty reflective of how I was feeling at the time. Um, and at first, it was really fun to do. Like I really enjoyed the more technical aspect of it a lot. Um, especially with my graphite, like charcoal drawings, the shading and everything was really fun to do. But after a while, because also at the same time, things for Instagram started going really well for me. So kind of getting a lot more attention and eyes on me and my work, which at the moment was really cool. I was like, oh, nice. Like people are seeing me and seeing what I'm doing, which is also kind of scary because I'm like, I don't want to be perceived right now. But yeah, that kind of gave me a boost at the moment of like, oh, cool. Like people are enjoying what I do. Let me do more of it. But then it also turned into like, now I just want to make this because I know it's going to get a bunch of likes. So like not really making it for myself anymore and just purely for content, which I feel like nowadays that is just kind of the standard. I don't know the way to phrase it, but it's just wonky online space, especially in the art bubble.
And it doesn't feed your soul to focus.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like was like a big thing for me of why I switched. It just didn't feel genuine to me anymore, and I didn't feel like I was doing it for myself instead of I was doing it for everyone else. But
That was like your graphite was blowing up?
yeah, so like all those portraits and like kind of paintings, that's kind of what got a lot of the attention that I had from the beginning. Like a lot of people I'll meet, they're like, yeah, like I found out about your work because of your portraits, which I'm like, oh, you've been here for a while. And I had like more than that, but I kind of archived some of them, so just kind of kept some of my favorite ones and whatnot. But yeah, that they were fun to do. Like I enjoyed it. I was using watercolor, and then like I said, went into more like graphite stuff. But from there, that's when I brought out the more colorful stuff. And like while you were scrolling, some of my portraits turned into like digital and like more, they were still somewhat colorful. And then once I was really out of it, it just went straight into like the characters and whatnot. And yeah, so it's pretty nice like scrolling all the way down and like going up, and you kind of
Yeah,
like really see just like this
yeah,
slow transition into like what I do.
like this. This is cool. I love these colors. Was this digital?
Yeah, that's all in Procreate. Yeah, all my digital work that you see on there, yeah, it's all in there.
Awesome. And you were talking about at the conference that like the transition was also like therapeutic.
Yeah, because since with my reasoning like being I wasn't doing it for myself, it felt pretty freeing just to like make something silly. Because for whatever reason, I at the time when I was doing it, I didn't think I would be able to get like professional work if I was just making fun characters, which is really silly and like in retrospect because there's so many amazing like artists and even people working in children's books whose literally entire job is to just make really fun characters and stuff like that. So for me to think that was a bit like not correct. When I thought my portraits were really going to do something for me, which they were like in the more like gallery space. I was doing like art shows and stuff, but they weren't getting me any traction in the illustration space. So I was like, I'm just gonna have fun, be silly, and just do this stuff. Not really thinking it was gonna particularly like get me anywhere. But I was just having a good time sharing my work and also just having a fun time exploring Blender, which was like a pretty extreme shift into what I was doing because I really enjoy just hopping between mediums, but Blender was kind of the first that really like made me sit down and be like, okay, like this is something very brand new. Let's get into it and like see what's about and whatnot. Um, but yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, it's got its own, like it's like its own, like I feel like it's like when I moved here from Chicago, when I was living in Chicago, I wanted to travel all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
then when I moved to New York, I didn't want to go anywhere because the world came to me. So it
Yeah.
was like, there's enough here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What advice do you have for people still in high school who are like variously motivated to be creative in, I'm trying to say like not all in an illustrator way, but just like people with creativity in high school, which is everyone I'd argue, but like people who are motivated to do something with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, just keep doing what you're doing. People are gonna be like say whatever they have to say. I mean, this is like a cliche answer, but like just do your own thing. Like have fun. Like you can always explore no matter what age you are, but like in high school, there's just like so much you can explore, so much you can do before you really like pinpoint what you want. So if you have the opportunity, just like do anything and everything that you can. Um, and like as if you're like thinking about college, like of course I always like tell people, I'm like, if you have the opportunity to go, like go, because especially if it's like paid for, definitely do it, especially in at art school too, because art school can get really expensive really fast. But also like if you have a plan, like, oh, I want to start a collective with my friends or something like that, like do that, like go crazy, like connect with people, go to art shows and like meet people, and that would really like take you places. There's so many cool young collectives here in Chicago that are doing insane things. Like there was a really big one called Hour 9, and they just did like a whole art show at the Museum of Contemporary Art. um and like
Big
all of
moment.
them are like they're like early college, like late high school, and they're like doing these huge stuff. And like two of them just had an art show at another gallery. So it's like, just get out there. Like, again, very cliche answers, but they really like mean a lot. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah, like making community and it seems like you were making a lot of art. It's not just like once in a while, like you
No,
keep,
just like if you have the urge to do it. And there's gonna be days where you're gonna be low, or like maybe even months. Like I've had a whole year where I just couldn't create anything. Um, and sometimes it just takes that, and then once you come out of it, you're just doing anything and everything. So yeah, just like keep doing it, but don't like force yourself to do anything, because then that's when things get really weird,
yeah.
um, and stuff. So yeah.
When did you make your first website slash
First
like
thing.
presence that people could find you?
I would say my Tumblr was probably my first kind of space to present my work. That's what a lot of like artists were doing around that time.
You
Had
guys
their
have
like,
a website or a Tumblr or something that you present? Okay,
I used just use Instagram.
that is a form of a website,
yeah,
right?
Instagram is honestly like one of the most used like spots at this point. I mean, just like the way it displays your work, it's like super easy, and especially like that square shape is really clean looking.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I've had like people ask about like, oh, I need to like make a website, or like I should do this. I'm like, really? There's so many platforms where you can display your art. Like, sure,
yeah.
a proper website looks nice and is clean, but you can achieve that look in so many other spaces and whatnot. So
Mhm.
also having like a website can be expensive because you have like your domain and stuff. Like it can get pricey. But like once you feel good about what, I mean, I hope you always feel good about whatever you're making, but once you feel ready to just like, oh, I want to have like a proper website, then yeah, there's so many options in that space as well. There's a lot of free options that you can do. Like if you have an Adobe subscription, they have like free website builder that you can put together. There's like Cargo. I use Format. Um, so there's a lot of like great options out there once you're ready to like do a whole thing. So, but no, Instagram, Tumblr, honestly, Twitter too. Well, Twitter's kind of weird right now, so
Yeah.
maybe not. But
It's not
um,
even called that anymore, yeah.
yeah, like X, whatever it's called.
And so like when you started like collaborating, like people started reaching out to you for work based, like to pay you for it, making art, did you
Yeah.
have, like, were they finding you through your Instagram at that time? Slash
Like
Twitter?
they're finding me through Instagram. A lot of like my freelance, I feel like came from Twitter. Um, and
Yeah,
then also like once you start doing work with like clients and companies, I always joke with my friends, and I think I mentioned that at the conference. There's just like this secret list between art directors that are like floating around with like everyone's
yeah,
contact names on them. So um, there's a lot of times people will just come straight to my website and just like email me that way. So there's a lot of different points. Some people will like say where they saw me, but
uh-huh,
uh, yeah, there's like multiple points of contact that I've been reached out to from people.
that's helpful, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any new question surfaced? I have another one. Um, is Lisa Babb one of your mentors, would you say?
Um, I mean, I would love for her to be. That was actually my first time like meeting her in person. Well,
Yeah,
not on stage, but this whole process. This was our first time meeting and interacting. But she's like a great person, and
yeah,
I would love for her to be my mentor. I've never really like had a proper mentor or anything. Just like I had friends and other creatives that I would reach out to, but never just like one appointed person to like kind of
That makes sense.
guide me and stuff, but
Yeah, it's a very explicit process to like assign someone as your mentor, because like
Yeah.
people, I remember asking someone to be my mentor and I was taking it too lightly because I did not think about the fact this is like a lifelong relationship, or at least like a phase of your career. The reason I asked was because like she seemed like a natural, like she was so nurturing to you,
Mhm.
and like very like opening doors, and that's what a mentor should be doing.
Yeah.
And last week we talked about, I don't know if you went to combo session at the conference
No,
about making space for BIPOC designers at studios, whatever, and like they had a good presentation on that. But one thing that they shared was that, I just shared this with you guys, that like 70% of designers are all white, and then it's like 30% per the demographics that they broke down. And it's been that way for 20 years. It hasn't been shifting. And they attributed that to recruitment and retainment practices, but also like not realizing yourself and your family, not knowing that like this could be a successful career path for you. Like it doesn't mean just starving artists when you say I want to be a designer, or I know you like to interchange and just be owning the artist role, and know that that's not a synonym for like starving artists. So like having more examples like that around and mentors.
Mhm.
Another thing Combo mentioned is that just as a BIPOC designer, like you're facing a lot of dumb stuff and like that's systematized, across organizations. So having a mentor helps you kind of navigate those weird things with someone who kind of gets you a little more than someone who that's invisible to, like they're not facing those same things. So do you have people like that you would say, like maybe you wouldn't use the word mentor, but guides through weird stuff? And have you seen weird stuff in your trajectory so far?
Yeah, like I definitely have kind of during the peak of 2020, a lot of us, like us as in like my friends and other artists, we were hopping into Discord in like multiple different groups, and like there were multiple groups I hopped in that were just like people of color, like black collectives of other 3D designers, just like artists in general. And we all kind of got together to have like this space to be able to communicate, share experiences, stories, and like stuff like that. And even just like on Twitter too, there was like the drawing while black tag. There's like
Oh, yeah.
uh
Yeah,
there's a lot. There's so many like different hashtags for everyone. So it's like even if you are able to join one, like there's another one. Uh
Mhm.
yeah, so there's like so many spaces. And I've definitely had friends who I was able to reach out to, or even like had people reach out to me for like questions and stuff like that on like clients, or like, hey, how do I navigate this conversation with this person, and whatnot. So yeah, and
Thank you.
I don't think I've had any weird experiences or anything, just because like I've been freelancing, so it's just I kind of just am in my own bubble. But I've had like other friends in like the more corporate art space who I'm sure have had a lot of just wonky, unfortunate things that they had to deal with. So
This is awesome. Do you guys have any final thoughts or words? Want to share anything? No pressure.
Um, Probably it's been just like it's kind of just like interesting your story. I just find it like in a way like inspiring. Um, because like I don't want to like do anything in like art like drawing or illustration. I'm like more in the side of like photography. But like
mhm.
even though like yours is like drawing, like it still like kind of inspires me in like a lot of ways.
Yeah,
What are your takeaways?
I mean just like to continue doing what I'm doing and just like even if I'm like feel like I'm in a bad mood, just like take pictures of like whatever I'm like feeling like, or like um I'm not sure how to say it. Can't think of the perfect word now.
That was insightful.
Like I can't think of like I like lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, but like
That's
no
it's
worries,
just
no worries.
photography, like
yeah.
to continuing photography.
Mm,
What do you think about like putting your work out there now?
I feel like I might try to like make like a page for myself to try to put my work out there just so people can maybe like find out about me
Mhm.
like that way. And like I guess just like hearing your story also like kind of like made me realize that I could maybe do this for a career. Cause for a bit I was thinking maybe I would have to like um pursue something else just because maybe photography wouldn't work out for me.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
some
like
examples of, mhm.
yeah, that's I mean, that's awesome. Like especially with photography too, like I feel like you can even go even further beyond like even maybe what I'm even doing just because like it's right there. Like you have your camera literally in your hand right now. Like you could just take a picture and like be done, post it and like that's that. And especially being in New York too, there's so many places and faces that you can see and experience like yeah, you can do like whatever you want. It'll be great. Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. Like please keep doing like I don't know. If you're old enough, go to shows, like take pictures there, grab your friends, go like just do whatever. And even like little arts places if you have like collectives at your school or you have friends that do collectives, be like, "Hey, let me take pictures and like post it online." Like that'll like get you traction and stuff too, but you'll like find your flow and it'll be good. And then like you can definitely be successful in whatever like creative space you can do like and don't be ashamed if you have to like pick up a 9 to 5 while you're doing that because like it's gonna help you get to where you're gonna be like I freelance but I work at a daycare and like do art studio stuff so it's I mean it's extra money in your pocket on top of like what you're practicing so never feel embarrassed because there was a time when I was like oh I'm not a real freelancer because I'm working
Yeah.
like here, but it's like no, like this is just something that's giving you like a leg up to be able to like I don't know, purchase that lens that you wanted to get or like get new lighting set up for a photo shoot that you want to do. So definitely like keep doing it no matter what. And even if you have to like pursue something else in the meantime, like don't forget that that's like right there with you. Like you can always go back or whenever you're ready to like pursue it in whatever way that you need to. So, yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. I'm so excited to add this to our archive.
Definitely.
As a resource for all of us who've been here. So yeah, you're not alone.
No,
That's what we're
100%.
talking about. Yeah.
You're so good. There's so many like awesome spaces and stuff that you can join into, whether that be in person or IRL. So you're like in good hands regardless.
Yeah, you're in New York.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joy. And would you mind if I shared your contact with the students?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Email that hello
Yeah.
at. Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
please be in touch. And once we make some content, we're actually working on like a Kablam type show, probably.
Yeah.
Like, shorts within, a recurring series.
Yeah.
We will share with you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's nice meeting
Take
you
care. See
guys.
you around. Hi to
Bye.
your family.